Good evening, folks. Happy Monday, and welcome to our another weekly Monday edition of FSU Weather.
I'm student meteorologist Nikki Perrini.
I'm student meteorologist Matt Reagan. We had a little bit of weather coming into our area today.
A little bit of weather. We were hoping maybe for a little bit more weather, especially since we had that marginal slight risk out today for the severe thunderstorms. But nothing too extreme.
No, we didn't. All that line of storms ended up moving to our south and just brushing our area. When I came into the studio today, I got a little bit wet, but
Couple sprinkles, right?
No downpours.
Exactly. It's kind of like, when you're making like an ice cream sundae and you have like those few sprinkles on the top. That's kind of what it looked like outside today. That's exactly what it looked like, right?
Yeah. That's pretty much what I saw. The clouds started moving in. Everyone was asking me when we first started the day. It was such a nice start, and then it started to go downhill a little bit.
That's exactly the case. It went from sunny to partly cloudy skies to some clouds and some sprinkles. So we're going to go ahead and send some sprinkles out there with Mr. Shane. Shane?
Thanks, guys. Well, if today was an ice cream sundae, it was a very average one, coming in at just 2 degrees different from our average today at a high of 79 degrees, a low of 42 degrees. A little cool there on the chillier side, but that suited the ice cream well, didn't it? As for a glimpse ahead, we're talking about rain continuing on tonight. Just how long we'll stick around and find out. But we are calling for a generally rainy day tomorrow, with the sun peeking back out on Thursday. Let's take a wide look at the state of Florida right now and see just what that rain is doing. Right, we've got it entering the tri-state area right now, coming past Dothan, past Mariana, and arriving in Tallahassee. We'll be taking a closer look at that later in the show today. But we can see this is associated with a cold front that's slowly arriving in the region and will be bringing us a lot of rain. Showers have started to fall here in Tallahassee already at this hour. So how low will it go tonight? That's the first question we've got to answer here on the show. We're calling for a low of 58 degrees. That's well above average, and that's due to the increased cloud cover that will be trapping the heat at the surface along with all that moisture and rainfall. Only calling for a 20% chance of precipitation tonight with winds southwest at 5 miles per hour. So this is what we're giving you for tonight in Tallahassee, but will it clear up tomorrow in time for the sun to peek its head back out? Stay tuned and find out. For now, here's another story at the desk.
Thank you, Shane. That's right. We're seeing this rain kind of creep itself back into the picture, which kind of like springy conditions, right?
Yeah, the spring is starting to come back. We saw that little burst of cool weather, probably the last burst of cool weather for the season, but now we're going to start to warm up as the jet stream starts to lift northward.
Which, that means we got some nice spring flowers blooming. That's what I'm excited about. Got the bunnies hopping, all the great little animals coming out and frolicking, right?
Yeah, Easter's already next weekend, and we're going to be feeling those temperatures warm up. They're even expecting some 90s in parts of Kansas.
Right, so that's what we mean by spring weather is that jet stream is finally pushing itself back up, which kind of allows that warm weather to go ahead and situate itself back on in our region. So that'll be nice. So like we said, that last glimpse of the cold weather is what we saw this previous weekend. And now we'll have some nice warmer conditions, nothing too cold out there.
Yeah, and we're not talking too warm either. You'll see it's going to be very comfortable in the few coming days. So possibilities, some rain in and out. We're going to take a deeper dive into this one now with Blake with our first local.
Thank you very much, guys. Let's take a look at your current temperatures for right now. Tallahassee are sitting at 70 degrees. Monticello, 70 as well. A little colder up in Quincy because they're seeing some rain right now, and a little warmer down towards the coast in Apalachicola. And looking at your local radar, you can see some of that rain that sprinkled our area a little earlier, probably an hour or so ago. And over off to our west, there's actually a severe thunderstorm warning for Bay and Calhoun County, but that is about to expire at 5:30 Eastern time, which is 6:30 for our time, because they have a little time difference. And as we move on, we can take a look at our water vapor, where you can see that cold front that's moving in our area at the moment. Beautiful day down in Tampa, Naples, Venice Beach. See all that dry air, which is the orange indicated area, but you can see some cloud cover over our area in Tallahassee and bringing all the way back up towards the northeast, and over towards in Texas you can see some more moisture. And you can see what this cloud cover is caused by. It's caused by this low pressure and this cold front, which is to the north of our area at the moment, but it is bringing some rainy conditions into our area. Now, one thing I'd like to point out that is pretty unusual is this low off to our northwest is actually moving north. Usually you'd associate a low with a downward movement, but this one's moving actually to the north, and the cold front will be pushing south. And that will cause some clouds to build into our area and for Wednesday afternoon. But taking a look at tonight, your low is going to be 58 degrees, cloudy skies, 20% chance of rain. But that rain will start around 8 p.m. and go until 2 a.m. with winds out of the southwest at 5 miles per hour. So not too bad, but bring your umbrellas if you're going out for a fancy dinner or something like that, or a rain poncho. And taking a look at your forecast for tomorrow, there's a 20% chance of rain, less than today, but it will be warm and muggy. So if you're going to go outside, go to classes, you should probably dress light. And girls, I'm sorry, but your hair is going to suffer for tomorrow. And the winds are going to be coming out of the west-southwest at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tallahassee, your high is going to be 64. Monticello, 62. Quincy, 62. Thomasville is going to be a little colder, 60 degrees. A little warmer down towards the coast in Carabel and Apalachicola. And I'm just going to go ahead and send it on back to the desk. No, I'm not going to send it on back to the desk. I'm sorry about that. I'm going to send it on over to Casey for some more weather.
That's right. We'll go ahead and get right into that. We'll get right past here into Ward, the local radar, or the southeast radar, I should say. And as we do so, we see that there is some rain moving down toward the southeast. We had a line of storms that was earlier in play in northern Alabama around Huntsville, down toward Atlanta, Montgomery, Birmingham as well. And at weekend, now we're starting to see a little bit of regeneration of that area associated with the cool front. And we've even seen a couple severe thunderstorm warnings issued out of this, which I'll get to here in just a moment. Now, satellite and radar, you can see as the sun starts to set later in toward the evening hours, we do see that those clouds, they're starting to go away, but you can kind of get the idea from what we're seeing on the visible satellite that there is still some of those whiter colors on the map here that do tell the story here with some of these associated storms. Now, your watches and warnings here, it looks as if we just, that severe thunderstorm warning was just expired, that just got canceled early by the National Weather Service, in fact. Here, that was in effect for parts of Calhoun and Bay County, but that has just expired here in the last moment, in fact, from the National Weather Service. There's also a warning for Calhoun County and Jackson earlier, but that also has since been canceled by the office in Tallahassee. Now, we do have some river flood warnings, though, out toward the west, here near New Orleans, also around Jackson, Mississippi as well. Some of those rivers getting above their banks, so that's something to keep an eye on and toward those areas. Now, current conditions-wise, right now, we are seeing some thunderstorm activity here around Tallahassee, sitting at 70 degrees. Areas to the north, though, a little bit warmer. Montgomery, they're not seeing rain, so they're a little bit warmer, sitting at 78 degrees. It's actually cleared out in that area, making for nice weather conditions. But we are tracking that storm activity around here. Humidity tells the story here, very humid with that moisture in the air, 78% in Tallahassee, 61% in Savannah, and 69% as we get out toward areas around Shreveport in Louisiana. Now, kind of going ahead and getting to the forecast for tonight, though, we do see 55 degrees for Tallahassee. Tomorrow, 74 degrees in Atlanta, that area in Georgia. The mid to upper 70s, we'll be sitting a little warmer here. Could have another chance for some isolated thunderstorms. And in tomorrow night's forecast, 62 Tallahassee, core to the north, 54 in Atlanta. But right now, go ahead and take it back over to the desk with Matthew and Nikki.
All right, thank you, Casey. We're going on a little vacation right now because we're going to bring it out to Hawaii, where they've done a cool little research study.
That's right. The University of Hawaii at Manoa has actually been studying the beach erosions just in their local area. So places like Maui, Kauai, also Oahu, they've been studying the erosion rates and how much they're expecting these beaches to erode by 2015, and it's kind of getting crazy.
Yeah, they've got a possibility of 20 feet by 2050,
right?
And then by the year 2100, 40 feet. So maybe
that's
not
a lot.
Maybe not the best vacation day as the beach starts to erode.
Right, and there's things you can do to also help erosion. Obviously, when you're out there, be aware of your surroundings. Don't put things in the beach that aren't supposed to be there, things like cigarette butts, stuff like that. Just be aware of your surroundings and see what you can kind of do in that local area to keep the beaches safe.
Yep, and clean as well. So
Clean
we
as
want,
well.
we want to enjoy those beaches for the time that we have. But right now, we're going to enjoy the beach in the national forecast here with Casey.
Yeah, there's quite a few beaches, of course, in the national. We're talking about the eastern seaboard as well. Many beaches just across the nation. But you kind of go ahead and diving in toward those high temperatures today. We do see 79 in Tallahassee. That's what we peaked at. We've since cooled off because of that rain-cooled air. 75 in Dallas, 76 in San Antonio, 82 in New Orleans. You get the idea. Even warmer, almost 100 here in late March in Phoenix, 95. Very warm conditions, even for that part of the country. Now, current conditions-wise, we do see sitting here mid-70s in this area. Temperatures haven't deviated too much in most areas from those high temperature points. Now, in Tallahassee, a different story, though, because of that rain and that thunderstorm sitting over this area. We've cooled off some at the regional airport down to 70 degrees there. You see the temperature changes from what they were 24 hours ago. 9 degrees warmer in Atlanta, 3 degrees warmer in Memphis, 15 degrees warmer in Detroit. A general warmer air mass coming in toward the eastern part of the country here. A little bit cooler down toward Dallas, 7 degrees. But again, not too big of a factor in toward those areas. A little bit of relief, though, in terms of some of the warmer temperatures they have been seeing in toward those communities. Their current winds, they tell the story here across our nation. Now, we do see a little bit gusty, 12 miles an hour in New Orleans, but some of the ones that really pique my interest here are out toward the western part of the nation. Billings, 21 miles an hour, San Francisco, 25. So you get the idea, we have some pretty gusty winds on the left coast of this nation. Now, going ahead and getting radar-wise here, kind of showing where those systems are. We have some scattered shower activity here in toward Arizona, New Mexico as well, Albuquerque, Phoenix, Santa Fe, but kind of looking further out toward the east. Again, that line talking about in the southeast, you can kind of see it falling apart but regenerating a little bit with the instability and the heating of the day here. Some of that sunshine that we had earlier causing some of that activity to form in toward our area. Luckily, it shouldn't be too intense. That warning just expiring out toward the west, so that's a little bit of good news. But we'll still watch for some isolated strong storms with some hail and gusty winds later on. Kind of going ahead and taking a look at this, we do see this area of regeneration just a little bit here. It's already starting the weekend, though, here because of some of the rain that we've seen in toward this area over the last couple hours or so. So that's something to keep an eye on. Northeast-wise, we see that some snow around Rochester, New York, Burlington, Vermont as well, getting into some of this light to moderate snow. Nothing like what they've seen earlier in winter, though, as the snow season starts to wind down. Now, your watches and warnings nationwide, you see we do have a wet flag warning here in the Midwest for some fire conditions. They are favorable for some fire activity, so that's something to keep an eye on. Now, tonight, we're seeing 55 Tallahassee, 48 Atlanta, core to the north, though, 44 in Washington, D.C. And tomorrow, we see 48 in Boston, a little bit core and toward that is 8-time highs. But right now, we'll take it over to Josh for your local forecast.
Thanks, Casey. And many of you probably enjoyed the very nice weekend we had this past weekend. And that was because of a nice cold front we had. A little bit unseasonable, too. We were definitely below average. Take a look at the temperatures yesterday here in Tallahassee. 71 was our actual high. 5 degrees below normal across Tallahassee yesterday. And our record was 89 back in 2007, so nowhere near our record high. And our low was just below normal as well. Nowhere near our record either as well, but definitely below average for this time of year. Across the state of Florida, we were definitely about 5 degrees cooler than normal across the entire state. Look at this, mainly 70s across much of the state yesterday, even down to South Florida. No one broke 80 degrees yesterday. The cold front definitely took its toll here across the Sunshine State, but it did give us plenty of sunshine, crystal clear skies across most of the state, across the entire weekend. So it's definitely very nice across the state the entire weekend. Hope you got excited and enjoyed it. 70 right now in Tallahassee. We got plenty of clouds moving in associated with showers and thunderstorms to our west. We're not going to look at severe storms here. It was to our west in Calhoun, Bay, and Jackson counties. Those warnings have expired. But right now we're looking at the cooler temperatures now starting to move into our area. 68 in Quincy now, 75 in Wilma, and 74 in Apalachicola as well. So definitely starting to cool down the upper 60s and low 70s across the entire viewing area. Look at these dew points, though. We're now at 63 in Tallahassee. Earlier, we were in the upper 50s. And the thing is here is that we were in the mid to upper 50 dew points to the east and along Tallahassee. To the west, we were in the mid to upper low to mid 60s in the dew points. And the thing is that it's very moist to our west, and that helps fuel the storms to our west, not so much in our area. So we want those higher dew points if we want the rain, but since we were lower in the dew points, the storms have pretty much died out across Tallahassee. They're mainly to our south and west of the viewing area. Here's the clouds. You can see definitely the clouds, the showers, definitely to our west and south of this region. It's not really going to affect Tallahassee anymore for the rest of tonight. Here's the lightning indicator, definitely to our west. Not much to talk about here in Tallahassee. It's all with the severe to strong storms to our west. Let's take a look at what's going to happen here. We got a weak frontal boundary across our north and western sections, and that's really going to stay with us tomorrow. So we got another chance for some strong storms possible across the northwestern sections of the viewing area. More clouds, so not as warm as today, but still definitely right near 80 degrees, almost near average as well. For the beaches tomorrow, winds west 5 to 10 knots, seas 1 to 2 feet. Not too bad of a day tomorrow. UV index is going to be pretty high though, so have the sunscreen handy if you're going to the beach tomorrow. For tonight, 56 degrees is what we're calling for. Rather cool, but not too bad for this time of year. And for tomorrow, 80 degrees before the rain starts to kick in later tomorrow afternoon. But for right now, we'll send it right back to the desk. What do you got for me, Shane?
Well, we're going to talk about the thunderstorm forecast we've got for this week, and that starts here at home on Tuesday, where isolated to scattered thunderstorms are possible.
Yes, then we got that northwest flow coming in across the high pressure to our east, so we're going to have a good chance for some storms across the northwestern sections of our viewing area.
Yep, and then we spread our gaze out on Wednesday to cover the whole country, and we've got a line of thunderstorms going to flare up ahead of the advancing cold front along the Midwest.
Yes, absolutely, and that's really going to be part of the front system that's going to affect us Wednesday night into early Thursday before it starts to scoot out.
Yes, and this is going to start off in the upper Midwest through the Central Plains and then into the Mississippi and Missouri valleys, bringing large hail, damaging winds. We can't rule out an isolated tornado or two either.
Absolutely, but you have that cold air aloft that really helps the hail in these sections of the Midwest and in the Southeast as well. The cold air aloft really helps the chances for large hail in some cases.
Right, well, we're not getting any hail right now in the Sunshine State. Is that right, Nikki?
That's right, guys. No hail actually falling right now in our region, at least. We were expecting some marginal to severe slight risk conditions in terms of thunderstorms today, but nothing too severe has happened. We did have a severe thunderstorm warning off to our east, but nothing right here in our exact viewing area currently. Temperatures, though, right now around much of the Florida area, looking like 70s across much of the region, 76 down there in Key West and also in Orlando, 75 along the coast, 76 also up in Pensacola. So a little bit of a toasty one out there today. I know we started off with some sunshine for most of us, slightly went to some cloudy conditions, and then even cloudier conditions as the day went on. Saw those rains, couple sprinkles like we were talking about with the ice cream sundae early on into the afternoon hours, and that rain will continue going on in from 8 p.m. all the way up to 2 a.m. So the rain chances are still there, folks. Tonight's 24-hour temperature change, though, compared to the last 24 hours, we can see things have warmed up quite a bit, but that'll be changing as that cold front, that weak frontal system passes through our area. We'll start to see a little bit of a cool down. Nothing too much, though, just a couple of degrees and a lot of rain associated with that as well. So those clouds, they're going to be hanging on in for the remainder of the good chunk of the first half of the week. So those clouds we were talking about, you can see some of them moving into our area. This is Monday night. We're going to see those clouds persist also tomorrow. So the severe threat is pretty much over for the remainder of this evening. Really nothing but a lot of rain expected from 8 p.m. until 2 a.m. tonight, like we were talking about. So there's a good chunk of rain falling in between those time periods. But for right now, we're just seeing a lot of those cloudy conditions going ahead and dying on out. As we zoom on down, looking to the south by Miami, you can see some of those cloudier conditions that are just kind of streaming on in off the coast, the Key West area. Those clouds will kind of hang around for a little bit longer, but nothing too extreme will be associated with those. Tonight's forecast, though, looking quite nice. We're going to be dropping it back down to the 60s, 50s for some of the areas. So Tampa is currently a hotter spot, along with Miami and also Pensacola sitting at 61, but higher 50s for much of the area. Key West, he's the winner for the warm spot for tonight, 66 degrees down there. So quite toasty for the lows compared to what we did see this weekend. We were in the 40s this weekend. So kind of crazy to think we went from 40 lows all the way up to our higher 50s, 60s. So kind of crazy in terms of what a change we saw over the last couple of days. Tomorrow's forecast, though, looking quite nice. We see some sunshine down to the south We get cloudier as we do move on up, though. Those rain bands we were talking about, they'll be moving into our area. The clouds also moving on in, so it'll make for a slightly cloudy, a little bit of a dreary day tomorrow, and those rain chances will be residing as we move on into Wednesday. So Wednesday, that's when we'll see the last bit of rain, and then finally on Thursday, we'll see some sunnier conditions move on into the area. But right now, we're going to talk with Matt about what's going on around the varying segment, right?
We are, Nikki. Well, look at tomorrow night. Tomorrow night looks great too. 62 degrees, a little bit mild there, in my opinion. But we're going to broaden it out a little bit. One more time to see what's going on across the nation. 44 in Boston right now. They're the cooler spot. But look at Phoenix, Arizona, 93 degrees. So Phoenix, the warmth is back. The warmth is really starting to pile on in as that jet stream starts to move northward, bringing in the spring-like conditions. We're going to check in back down here in the Sunshine State. Not so sunny here, indicated by these clouds, but down in Miami, it's a little bit better. So let's take a look at what's going on across the nation in terms of satellite and radar composite. We have a low-pressure system that's just along the line here. That'll start to move on back to the north, and as Blake said earlier, that's a little bit strange. We don't typically see that very often. But look up to the northeast here. We have this winter weather maker, just a little wintry precipitation falling in parts of the northeast. Probably the last big kick that we're going to see for the majority of the season. And our cold front that's knocking on our door right now, that's going to just kind of hang around and move a little bit slowly, bringing in some kind of annoying showers, I like to call them. We're going to see on and off showers, and then as the day progresses into tomorrow, we have another chance of possibility of some severe weather knocking on our door, just like we saw in eastern communities today. But let's look a little bit farther in, close in with that wintry mix here, parts of Boston up into Maine. Little flurries on the ground, nothing too crazy. A lot warmer than what they've been seeing this entire winter. We saw Buffalo getting inundated with snow this whole winter, but they're finally starting to thaw out just a little bit up there. But now let's move on over to our friends up in Wisconsin, because Wisconsin, you're seeing rain. No snow, just rain. A couple of strong storms along that line as well. 24-hour temperature change shows really warmth all across the country, except for parts of Texas, where you're seeing a decrease in temperature in the last 24 hours. But the rest of the country is really showing that warming trend that we've been seeing as spring starts to really push into the country and warm up and make things rather mild and nice. High temperatures today we saw in our area at 79 degrees. The rest of the southern half of the country saw those really warm temperatures approaching 100 in Phoenix. So 100 degrees is back, but let's look at that futurecast temperature. I'm going to be out of the way real quick so you can look at this, because there's a lot to encompass here with this futurecast temperatures. Let's look at that nation right now, because it's looking really nice on Monday at 7 p.m., but really the warming trend is certainly here to stay, and we're not seeing really any cool temperatures in parts of the southern parts of the country. But tomorrow's forecast looks like this: 82 Tallahassee, similarly in New Orleans, and 85 Dallas, San Antonio, 94 in Phoenix again. Really warm temperatures all across the country. But for now, we're going to be talking more about weather with Shane and Josh.
Thanks, Matt. And we're going to switch it back from more of United States weather to the southern Pacific, where they have a current typhoon going on right now.
That's right, Josh. This typhoon is named Maysak and has recently undergone rapid intensification. It's currently the equivalent of what we would call a strong Category 4 hurricane here in the Atlantic.
And that's definitely on the major hurricane scale, definitely up there. The highest you can get is a Category 5 on our scale. So equivalent Category 4 is pretty high, can do major damage too, especially areas that are not built so well out there in the Southern Pacific.
Yes, this is threatening regions of Micronesia and parts of the Philippines, like the state of Yap, and may become a super typhoon soon if its winds exceed 150 miles per hour.
Which, if you look at that, that's a strong Category 4 on our scale. 156 is what qualifies as a Category 5 on our scale. And they've already had a really strong typhoon there already this year down in the islands down there and did some major damage. So this is definitely up there as well.
Yeah, we'll be monitoring the situation throughout the week, but for right now, we're going to throw it back to the wall for one last local with Tyler.
Thank you, Shane. It was very, very cool this morning. We got down to 42, but as the air mass modified, we warmed up very quickly, 79 degrees. So even though we started 7 degrees below average, we ended up above average on the day. And the contrast in temperature really fueled the strong to severe storms, mainly towards our west. And apparently, the temperatures have followed suit because the temperature is right now 70 degrees in Tallahassee, 68 degrees in Quincy, and 79 in Bainbridge, a little bit warmer because they got a little bit of sunshine, but you can expect these temperatures to drop throughout the night into the 60s and the 50s, but not quite into the 40s like we were seeing this morning. You can look at the local radar. It really shows the story of the rainfall mainly to the west of the Apalachicola River and to the west of Tallahassee. We had a couple of showers here right around campus. Most of the rain was to our west where the severe thunderstorm was in Bay and Calhoun County. You can see there was a lot more rain in Atlanta and Montgomery, but the upper level energy went off to the Atlantic, bringing with it more clouds than anything. Our storms were actually produced by the daytime heating. But as we go into tonight, you can see the low pressure center located right over Dallas, Texas. And as we put this into motion, you can see the cold front will start to propagate over towards the south, bringing with it a cloudy day. And because it is cloudy for tomorrow and Wednesday, the heat potential won't be tremendous. So while there will be a couple of showers, there won't be as big of a severe threat. We're only expecting maybe a strong thunderstorm, perhaps a marginal severe risk. As we go into tonight, though, 58 degrees in Tallahassee with a 20% chance of rain, mainly later, upper 50s across most of the region. As we go into tomorrow, temperatures will warm up to around 80 degrees, not 64, with a 30% chance of rain, but it will be warm and muggy as we go into tomorrow. Taking a look at the 7-day forecast, we're going to be really warm the next 4 days, warming up into the middle 80s by Thursday and Friday. It will actually, the clouds will depart and temperatures will be pretty warm. As we go into the weekend, though, very beautiful, upper 70s right around average, and temperatures will stay in the upper 70s as we go into next week. Lows will be warmer, though, with temperatures in the middle 50s. But let's send it back to the desk.
Thanks, Tyler. And we're going to end up this show here locally in Tallahassee, where we had about, not including today, but before that, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, a 4-day stretch of below average temperatures.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, and if I'm not mistaken, that was the result of high pressure dominating the region, which also gave us a string of beautiful days with lots of abundant sunshine.
Well, actually, what happened was on Thursday and Friday, we had plenty of clouds to go around, so it really kept our temperatures down. And if you compare that to Wednesday, our high was 82 degrees. And so you compare that clouds and sunshine, almost a 10-degree temperature difference. And look at that, plenty of days to go around for the next 4 days.
Yep, we do remain under a marginal severe threat for tomorrow, so keep your NOAA weather radios on. We're not expecting anything widespread or dangerous, but best to be prepared. And then after that, the clouds begin to break and we get to another beautiful weekend.
Another chance of rain possibly on Saturday with another cold front and cooler temperatures again, but not as strong as this past one. We're right back in the upper 70s. You can like us on Facebook.
Or follow us on twitter.com/FSU Weather, or watch our show anytime on livestream.com/FSU Weather, or on YouTube. Or we also have an Instagram for sharing beautiful photos of the weather around here.
Absolutely. Plenty of clouds today to put on Instagram out there and share your weather photos. But for right now, I'm student meteorologist Joshua Rivas.
And I'm student meteorologist Shane Pendleton. Have an awesome evening and stay safe.